Hey, what's up, baseball fans? Hopefully, everybody had a wonderful Wednesday with both baseball and basketball DFS up, man. We got another day of double sports, an odd start time for baseball today. So I'm sure most of you guys have noticed that already. There's a weird two-gamer in the middle of the day, but then the actual main slate starts at like 3 Central, which is highly unusual, but it is what it is.
DK rarely does this. On a Thursday without too many teams in play, decided to break it out like this, and we'll take it.
Yes, guys. We will do overlay later. Now we start to get questions every day to make sure we're doing it. We will cover both basketball and football, or basketball and baseball later today. I don't know about you. Tied for the right record to get in the money yesterday, but missed on my tiebreaker points because Brooke Lopez and Tyler Hero tied. So looking to get back in there today for both sports and try to get in that money. We got 4 sports up right now. If you are listening to this, you got less than 20 hours to go get in your PGA picks. I know some of you golf addicts love this stuff, so get in there.
Let's get it, man.
Give me a second, guys. All right. I know you like this slate a lot today, don't you?
I do. I like it, and I'm excited to talk about it.
Awesome. All right, here we go. Don't forget, guys, day passes are up. You get both sports today for the price of $5. You get both sports, basketball and baseball for the day. The NFL package is still for sale. Give a thumbs up on the video if you don't mind. Subscribe to the station if you're new to it. Let's talk about pitching today. So there's a couple of pitchers on our radar, and we wanted to talk over Taijuan Walker with you guys today. And I want to stress this one. Please listen up. I know sometimes we'll talk about guys as opposed to just giving them a ringing endorsement. Excuse me, we want to talk through Taijuan Walker. We are by no means saying you have to play him. In fact, in a lot of ways, we think it can be a very intriguing fade. Because of his cheap price tag today, I don't know what his proposed ownership is at this point, but don't you expect him to get a good amount of love here?
Yeah, he's going to get a good amount of love. He's been good. He's under 5K, and he's in a good spot against a Boston team that is not very good. And as of right now, he's coming in about a quarter owned.
A quarter owned? I would be willing to bet. I bet it's higher, too.
Same.
People love cheap starting pitchers, and I can't blame anybody for playing him. In fact, I'm going to use him at least once today. Like, I'm going to do a 3-entry max for GPPs, and he'll get an appearance from me knowing that he gives up a lot of, flexibility within your cap room. However, we love the idea of a leverage Boston Red Sox stack because as good as Walker's been in a few of his starts, he's also been really bad in some of his other starts. And this is one where you go against a chalkier pitcher simply because he's not going to – he's too cheap, so everybody will use him. But that doesn't mean he pitches well today. And the Red Sox top half of their lineup is still really good.
Yeah, it's still really good. So, listen, there's good case to be made for both sides here. Walker is too cheap, but he's also very hit or miss. So if he's off today, he won't look too cheap.
And he'll be blowing up a good number of the lineups in your contest today because he's underpriced. And you know how it is on DK. When people are underpriced, everybody plays them because they look like a deal, whether they like them or not. I mean, how many times have you made that decision in my life? I know I've done it way too many times.
Too many.
All right. So, again, I understand playing him, but we're definitely wanting to talk him over because there is, 2 sides of the coin on this one. And it's going to keep the Boston Red Sox guys lower owned today than they should be at the top of that order.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So moving down the list into some of the hitters today, let's check out DJ LeMahieu with the New York Yankees. The Yankees are all a little bit too cheap today, specifically LeMahieu. We talked about this at length on the Members Only podcast. Like when he left Colorado, he went from like a good hitter to like really good. This guy's batting .392 this year with an OPS of 1,000, 4 bombs, playing well, dual eligibility, only 4,300. I'm not at all scared of Gazelman and the Mets bullpen in this situation. I think he's solid for all formats.
Yeah, he's rock solid here, man. Very affordable, 4,300. We like the Yankees here. You don't have to go out of your way to sell your soul to stack them tonight, but they're wildly in play. LeMahieu just fits all formats at this price point.
Yep, he's too cheap, and you can use it as a complimentary stack too. Like if there's another team that you really like, you can fill in with like a LeMahieu Frazier or something like that.
Yep.
All right, next up. Let's talk about the Yankees, but let's talk about their former players. Didi Gregorius, Philadelphia Phillies, matched up with Anibal Sanchez today at the Washington Nationals. Very affordable at $4,400 for what he offers. The key thing here for me is Sanchez is struggling this year, And Sanchez gives up the things that DK rewards. We often talk about guys that can hit for power and run the bases. Well, DD can do a little bit of both, but that's what Sanchez has issues with, is giving up stolen bases and home runs. So this is an excellent spot for upside. I expect the Phils to get some love today against Sanchez. DD is one of my favorite pieces from Philadelphia. 4-13 with 2 bombs and 2 stolen bases off Sanchez. Hit me up here.
Yeah, so Philly's getting a lot of love today, and for good reason. I mean, they're in a great spot against Anibal, who's been awful this year. We've talked about that a bunch, how he's had an up-and-down career. He's definitely in the down part right now. Another guy, kind of priced basically the same as LeMahieu, a former Yankee. He just fits all formats here. If you want to stack Philly, you want exposure here, and even if you don't want to stack Philly, he works as a one-off.
All right, next up. So speaking of the Boston Red Sox, we talked about them, and you're not going to get them at 1% or anything like that, but the top half of their lineup, Verdugo, Martinez, Bogarts, Deffords, etc., is still pretty good. And this Verdugo kid that came from the Dodgers in the Mookie Betts trade, I mean, he's not as good as Mookie Betts, but he is playing good baseball this year. OPS over 900, 5 bombs, batting over 300, playing really well right now. And this is kind of the idea of using that contrarian Red Sox stack against Taijuan Walker, because they're not going to get a lot of love today. Again, I think he makes sense in anything, man. Even if you play Taijuan Walker, this is the kind of guy that you could play against him. But I'm most specifically looking, if I can find a way to afford, a mini Boston Red Sox stack, I'm all in on that.
Yeah, I'm with you on all points, man. He's definitely a guy you can use with Walker because he runs. And, all of a sudden, if he gets on and steals a base, if you have Walker, then they both could easily pay off value. And if you don't use Walker, you got to look at some Red Sox here. Not only just the leverage, but also the fact that we've talked about it. The leverage could mean big upside here if Walker's off. We've seen him get absolutely shelled before. We don't know that's going to happen here, but they're going to be lower owned because he's going to get owned. So it makes a lot of sense for me in tournaments.
And that's one of the things that sometimes it's difficult for, I can't say I haven't been there myself, but for people to understand is, in order to win baseball tournaments, you have to be willing to not change the method to your madness when it doesn't work out. Taijuan Walker, when on, is very good. And that's why we said there's 2 sides of the coin on this one. And if he pitches really well today, don't expect much out of Verdugo and Bogarts and Devers, etc. But if he's off a little bit, you can get them at lower ownership due to the leverage of it. And that's the kind of thing that could win you a tournament on a 6-game slate like this.
Mm-hmm.
All right, last up. Speaking of Alex's, check out Alex Gordon of the Kansas City Royals. He's 2,300. Why don't you let everybody know what you're thinking here?
So talked about Kansas City for a while in the members only, and just to give the public a sneak peek, I like them quite a bit here. They just got done facing Cleveland's gauntlet of a rotation, and McKenzie, Plesac, and Bieber. A little bit different than what it's been the past 2 years, but 3 really good pitchers right now. They shut down the Royals all series. I think this is a great bounce back spot for them. We've talked about this all year. Teams kind of getting away from the really good pitching, now in a much better spot against Dylan Cease, who's had walk problems recently. Just faced this Kansas City team. Gordon's got good numbers off of him. Kansas City's going to be low owned tonight, and I love them as a stack. I like both sides of this game, and Gordon with real good numbers off Cease is firmly on my radar.
Really low owned. We brought up the Red Sox guys being lower owned because of Taijuan Walker. I expect Kansas City to be even lower owned than that, because Dylan Cease is a guy whose overall numbers look pretty good. His DK price is up there. I don't think people are going to go out of the way to pick on him in a less than stellar ballpark and everything like that, which means you get these guys at a real low ownership. But if you break down what Dylan Cease has done this year, he has given up an absolute buttload of walks lately. And when he gives up runs, it's oftentimes via the home run, which is how you get paid on DraftKings.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, that's what we got for today. Don't forget to click the thumbs up button. We will talk to you about some NBA in a little bit. We'll be breaking down overlay a little bit later. Best of luck to everyone.
Thanks, guys.